Hello everyone, Rich here and welcome to a new episode on how to analyze any chart from scratch without using any indicators, just by applying basic price action concepts and market structure 101. So let's get started. Today we've picked silver as per the comment or the request of one of the members in the previous episode comment section. You can serve the previous episodes for more examples on a different asset like Forex, crypto stocks, and so on. And feel free to request any asset in the comment section of this video. So, of course, we have RichTL as our baby on our chart to make objective technical analysis. You can get it on RichTL.com. It's an entire package, the course, how to use the patterns, customized patterns, and support group, weekly overviews, and so on. So check it out. We start from the higher time frames like weekly and monthly to get a feeling about the overall market, overall direction. Are we bullish, bearish, hovering within a range, and so on? Because half of the work is done here on the higher time frames. Because once we know where we are, we know what to look for. Are we around the lower band? In this case, we'll be looking for longs. And are we around the upper band? Of course, we'll be looking for shorts. And of course, if you are in the middle, we have no edge, so we stay out. Sometimes a trade is also no trade, or an action is no action. So let's do it. H4 and daily are for the structure or the intermediate time frame between the macro view and the trigger view, which would be our H1 and M30 time frames, where we look for setups around key rejection areas from H4 and above. So let's do just that. As you can see from monthly time frame for silver, we have been overall bullish, right? So we have our impulse, correction, and we are currently in the second impulse. We're expecting some sort of a correction, and then we'll be looking for a long-term bullish movement towards this previous major high. Of course, previously we have been bullish, making higher highs and higher lows, and starting from here, we are bearish because we broke below an objective low. And then, as you can see, we have been stuck within this range. We broke a high, and we are bullish again. So we are bullish, right? So we need to find something that engulfs this overall bullish movement, which you can clearly see that we have a channel simply by connecting the dots. Let's make it in blue, for example. We can draw this rising channel. We have our impulse as mentioned, correction, and we are currently in this impulse. We can still push higher, which would be lining up with this previous major high. Also, with the upper band of the channel, or we can push lower. This would be a very, very strong area around 25 to be looking for trend following buy setups. That's what we know from monthly time frame. Of course, we also have this previous high that might reject the price, but let's see it better on weekly time frame. Let's make it visible on all time frames, just like this. If you zoom to weekly time frame, we can see multiple rejection zones right there, right there, right there, just by following the dots. As you notice, we've got multiple dots here, multiple rejections and dots here, multiple rejections and dots here. So what we do is we simply draw our square resistance to catch or to connect as many rejections as possible. So that's the first one. Of course, it's a zone, so let's do it just like this. We've got another one, as mentioned previously, just like this, and also the latest one that price recently broke it upward is around this area. You can change the color just to see it better visually. So this is where we draw our support and resistance on monthly and weekly. And lately, as mentioned, we broke above this resistance zone, so it's now acting as support. So as price retests this support zone, of course, we'll be looking for buy setups. If it goes flat, it will be also intersecting with the lower channel. If it goes steep, we might just reject the support and then retest it one more time before pushing higher. This is the channel that we found from monthly time frame, and we found the support and resistance on weekly time frame. Recently, we have been rejecting this previous major high, so you can mark it as well, because we are currently rejecting this high. Let's mark it in, for example, red. Let's make it appear on lower time frames. Perfect. And that's it. So this is what we know from weekly and monthly. Just by checking these two time frames, you know that we have been bullish long term. We are currently in this impulse movement, currently rejecting the previous high just like this. So we can still push lower multiple times before breaking. So we can still push lower multiple times before breaking. So we'll be trading this range as long as this area holds and rejected. We'll be keep on trading this area until eventually, of course, it's broken upward or broken downward. In this case, we'll be expecting further decline. So zooming into daily time frame, we can see it even better, stuck within this big range, and lately we have been rejecting this. So what we are waiting for is a break above it, because we don't want to be looking for longs here around the upper bound of this range, right? So we want to break it upward. In this case, we'll be looking for trend following longs on the retest, and you'll be able to draw this channel like this as an here we go, as a shorter term one following the price action mode. But for now, you can't really draw it because you don't have a direction. You are just stuck within this range. Zooming into H4 time frame, we can see the impulse and correction movements, or the ups and downs, in a cleaner manner within this big range, right? So previously, for example, we broke below this head and shoulders, objectively below these dots or the previous major lows, and we have been bearish since then, making lower lows and lower highs. And then we broke above this high, which is the only high that got broken from all this bearish trend. We pushed higher, then we had a small correction here. After breaking below the low, we could look for a short-term short on the retest, and then we broke above a high, so the bullish trend resumed. And since then, we haven't broken below a low, right? So following this logic, low being broken downward, bearish, high being broken upward, bullish, bearish, bullish, here's what we are going to look for now. This previous major low, just like this. Let's make it in a different color, for example, in blue, just to differentiate between this major one from daily and weekly and this minor one from H4 time frame. If you break it downward, this is where you can look for a short on the retest, right? And of course, as mentioned previously, if you break above this, you will be looking for trend following longs on lower time frames. So we are stuck between these two, support and resistance. Of course, meanwhile, as long as we don't break a low, you can look for a trend following long on every correction movement, just like previously. So we'll be looking for short-term longs that we know that it might not last long because we have this rejection, this resistance zone, but we'll be looking for a long anyway, as long as we can go up, make some profit, or have some room to go up before hitting a rejection. Vice versa, if we break it downward, we can look for a sell on the retest and expect this bearish movement towards the lower bound of this big range, which is the support zone right there, where we're looking for long-term longs, like H4 break upward, retest to it, look for a buy. If you are a long-term investor, you can buy immediately on the H4 break, just like here, for example. Or if you are a shorter-term investor or trader, you can look for a trend following buy on the retest of it on lower time frames. That's what we know so far. Now we are ready to zoom into H1 and then 30 to look for what? Look for longs right there. So we came up with a trading plan, just like from checking H4 up to monthly, which would be looking for short-term longs, looking for short-term shorts, break above this, then look for longs. And then if you push lower, we'll be looking for longs. But I'm interested in these three scenarios, which we are currently in or around. If you zoom into H1 time frame, let's see if you can find anything. I don't really find any dots. I personally only follow the dots objectively here. Also on M30, I don't really see much lately. However, I'll be waiting for something to form, like any basic or advanced pattern. I have 4 advanced patterns that I look for that you can't find anywhere else. So you can check it out once you join our family, as mentioned on RichTL.com. That's RichTL, just add .com to it and you will be directed to the website. So looking for anything here, personally, I'm not looking for anything for now because I don't have anything objective. But if new dots form, I'll be highlighting my neckline and then I'll be buying on break upward, vice versa, H4 time frame. If we break it upward from H4 as a momentum candle close on the retest of it, I'll be looking for trend following shorts. So that's it for today. Feel free to request any asset in the comment section below and I will be happy to cover it. Most importantly, be safe, trade safe, and enjoy the process.